pleased to meet you. This is Fixed and Folded, the knife review channel for the casual knife collector. I am Cody. My assistant cat Tommy is looking at the curtain over there, and I'm going to be doing a review of the Spyderco Slym folding knife. This is a very good knife. I'll start out with the materials. You've got M390 blade, titanium frame lock handle with a black and white carbon fiber inlay on the show side. This is made in Italy by Lion Steel. This is a collaboration with Lion Steel. This is a Spyderco version of Lion Steel's skinny knife, and very similar. I prefer this Spyderco version. The price is $3.75 Canadian at Blades Canada. Right now this is out of stock, so put a little notify me if you want to buy this from Blades Canada. And actually, that's a good price for the materials and the fit and finish. You have a crowned spine. Crowned means like domed, means smoothed over, which is a nice touch made by a lot of Italian companies, some other European companies as well, like Czechoslovakia companies makes these. What's that one called? Acta non verba. They like to do some crowned spines. And you have a nice machine lines all down the side on the satin finish on the edge. Nice geometry for piercing. Most Spydercos will do just a leaf shape, and it ramps up consistently to the top. Oh, like a PM2 here. But I like these Spyderco designs that sacrifice cutting efficiency for piercing ability. Because if you know my channel, you know that I lean towards tactical style of knives. For the dimensions, the compact dimensions of this knife, you have somewhat of a thick handle because it's not tall in this dimension. And the blade thickness is medium for almost an 8-inch knife. Overall length is 7.8 inches. So this is going to be the same length as like a Spyderco Tenacious, Kershaw Blur, maybe a little bit longer than a Spyderco Para 3. This is in between medium and full size, in my opinion, but very well designed to maximize hand real estate and blade length for this size. This is the same effective hand length as a Benchmade readout, and also very similar to effective blade length, but this is shorter overall because this transition between the handle and the blade is shorter. You have a smaller choke point here for the finger. This is a usable choke point. Just got to be careful. You can rest the thumb ahead here, have nice control over the blade. This hand space is good. I have extra large size hands, and there's still a little bit poking out at the end there. So there's actually a little bit more usable hand real estate than there is on the Spyderco PM2's default position. You can see this pretty much, my hand fills up all of the default hand space on the Spyderco PM2, whereas here, actually, there's just a little bit extra space left. So that's nice, efficient, maximizing geometries for the handle. And there's maximized blade length. This still, if you're careful, you can do a choke up, but it's not as generous a choke up spot as, oh, say the PM2 which has this designed choke up area where you can safely put your finger here and do fine control work like the military and the Para 3. So you're getting a design that is high-end EDC, everyday carry, low profile in the pocket, design that is also tactical. Sort of. I would say I'm not going to call this a tactical knife because this fails in one area, and that is, can you operate it with gloves? Because the spider hole is relatively small compared with Spyderco's more popular selling knives, and the flipper tab is more discreet than many other knives with flipper tabs. This is not operable with me wearing gloves, but with my bare hands, this is pretty good. There are multiple ways to deploy the action on here. As you can see, it's an angle, an acute angle on here, sort of pushing back on you when you use the flipper. And the way that works best for me is to use my fingertip, almost using my nail and doing a light switch. This is not push button style of flipper. Do a light switch, pushing it into the frame. Thankfully there was no jimping along here, so I can slide my finger down the frame, open it that way. I believe this runs on bearings. It's really glassy once you break it in, really smooth action. And the other method is using the Spidey hole. You can use a finger flick. Some people find it's easier for them to do a finger flick with their index finger. I don't know if I can do it. No, I use my middle finger. I find it easiest to slow roll my thumb, break the detent, and in a diagonal out motion, just think of it as rotating along the center of the pivot, the axis. So this would be a circle like this. So in the motion in line with that. So pushing towards that where you're going to do the circle. Breaks the detent, or I put my nail, my thumbnail, which isn't long, inside, and then I flick out. Try that again to get it smooth. So it's really fidgety, actually. I was fidgeting with this knife, breaking in the pivot tension all night with this thing. So I like this more than I thought I would, because this is a little bit below the minimum size of the knife that I like to carry. I would say the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is the general minimum size to be like a full-size knife. This is 8 inches. Might be more than 8 inches. You know what? I'm going to measure it right now to see what I like to carry. 8 1/4. So 8 1/4 inches is about my minimum of what I like to carry, and 7.8 inches. But this handle is actually thicker than the PM2. PM2 has a relatively thin EDC friendly handle, but this is thicker handle, but it is not as tall. So this does not fill out the hand. This is kind of like a fat toothbrush. This is like a fat executive knife, like a pen knife. So this is more beefy than like a CRKT CEO or something, but it's between that and tactical user knife. I don't know, other than the actual Lion Steel Skinny, many other knives that suit this multi-use role for this compact, effective size. You have an integral handle, so this is one piece of titanium milled out to exacting specifications. The action on the frame lock, there was a little bit of lock stick sometimes when I would deploy the knife, and it was kind of random. You had to deploy it hard, but No lock stick anymore. It's pretty much all broken in. Once in a while there'll be a little bit of lock stick. Minor lock stick doesn't bother me. And minor lock stick tends to wear in over time and become smooth. If you have a major lock stick to the point where you can't release it with your fingers and you need to use a screwdriver or something to pry it open, well, that's an issue. And I've returned Medford Fighter Flipper for that issue. So sometimes if it's a catastrophic issue that you can't, under normal circumstances release, well, that's might be considered a defect. But if it's just a minor lock stick, if it just clicks when you release it, and it's not a functional problem, it's going to get better over time and not worth returning for. I think that the color, this is subjective, the design, the color of this carbon fiber inlay is black and white, so it matches the grayscale of this nice coated titanium and this nice satin blade, so it suits the color of the knife. The spoon clip, or whatever you want to call that shape of the clip, it was a little bit, not a hot spot, but I could feel the bill in my hand. It was distracting. It was raised up, it was a little bit above the height of the spine. And I subtly lowered it, just took some pliers and wrapped it in a microfiber cloth, removed it with this is probably a T8 Torx. And just lowered it enough that it no longer bothered me. And now, very comfortable. And this is a longer pocket clip than you get on the Lion Steel Skinny. And I like this for the frame locks. I like being able to rest my fingers on the pocket clip so that I'm not accidentally pushing down on the frame. Perfectly centered. So the tolerances are excellent. For $375 Canadian, this is a reasonable price for what you're getting. Italian made, premium materials, M390 titanium. It's not the biggest knife, it's not the most M390 or the most titanium that you're gonna get, but yeah, reasonable price. I got this at Cutting Edge Cutlery in Calgary, and they also don't have any more left, but that's where I got it. So you can contact them if you live in Calgary or if you want to ship out from them. And they'll place an order and they'll get it to you. The geometry of the blade is pretty balanced for durability and efficiency. You can see it is a high, almost full flat grind. Just that little bit at the top here is unsharpened, but it from the last half, it's a full flat. So it's essentially, I would call this a full flat. But because it's a thin, it's not a tall blade, you're not getting, and medium thickness, you're not going to be getting maximum razor blade sliciness all the way through, but it is a good balance. I'd say it's good at durability and also good at being a slicer. Just the design of this knife is it's not going to be the best at anything, but it can do most tasks well. Do a weight. The weight of the knife is, if it's under 4 ounces, I consider that light. 3.4 ounces, so this is light. This is not taking up a lot of space in your pocket. So they're good for everyday carry. But the blade is over 3 inches. Cutting edge, just over 3 1/4, but between 3 1/4 and 3.5 inches, so 3.35 inches cutting edge. Total blade length, 3.4 inches. Total handle length is 4.4 inches with a usable handle space of 3.5 inches, which happens to be the width of my fingers. You can see my fingers are also 3.5 inches. But if I go back a bit, and there's a little bit of room here, the way I hold it, saber grip, There's just a little tiny bit of extra space. So this is efficiently packaged. It's just like a compact design, maximizing handle grip space and cutting edge for the size. So this performs like a knife a quarter of an inch longer, like an true 8-inch knife, because this area here is relatively narrow. Do a size comparison here. Got sort of starting at other size knives that I like to carry. So you're going to compare it with the popular Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Go up a size, a quarter of an inch, to the Presidio 2 Benchmade, and another quarter of an inch. You get into the, I call it extra large size knives, SOG Seal XR, and the same length Recon M1, which it might be a little bit different length than Recon 1's, like comparable, but Recon M1 is a little bit different. It's designed in a different factory and has a little bit different specifications than the Recon 1's, but they're all going to be in that extra large size. So going full size, this is also full size, and then just below, between medium and full size, is where this Spyderco Slym fits in. For me, sometimes I fail on the deployment. It's probably because of the size of my hands. This flipper tab is small for me, and the spider hole is small for me. I'm able to do it, I'd say 95% of the time. I'm able to do it first try, but sometimes I think in a self-defense situation, very much chance I could fail to deploy this with adrenaline running. So if you got extra large size hands, don't carry this as a tactical knife. But if you have medium size hands, this is an amazing knife. This could be a 10 out of 10 knife for you. Even if you have large size hands, this could do absolutely everything you want everyday carry knife to do. And even with me, with my extra large hands, I like this more than I thought I would. So you have a removable flipper tab here. I believe this was a T6, and it's just a screw that this part here will actually come off, and that's if this flipper tab bothers you, or you don't feel like you need this extra section here to keep your hand secure during piercing, you can remove this. It's not so much for aesthetics or feel as much as it is laws in certain countries. Some countries don't allow flipping knives, so that's when you remove it. I guess possibly to ship it out to you, it comes removed. So, and then your method of deployment is going to be the spider hole. But I like the spider hole how it's placed, because my thumb naturally sits here during the saber grip, combined with this extra flipper tab and just the swell on the handle anyway, really provides a nice area to protect the hand from sliding forward during piercing. So again, if you have medium sized hands, maybe large sized hands, you could use this as a do everything EDC tactical knife. But my hands are just a little too big. So for me, this is a 9 out of 10 knife, just because I tend to lean, my priorities are kind of like a do everything knife, including self-defense if you need to. It's a 9 out of 10 knife for me, but if you got smaller hands, this is probably going to be a 10 out of 10 knife for you. So that concludes my review of the very good Lion Steel collaboration Spyderco Slym. Have a great day. I will have more knife reviews coming up soon.